All right, this is chapter 3, I believe, on Sandel's book Justice. And this week we are talking about libertarianism. I believe I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize in advance because I will butcher that word. Um, and so just to start off, I'm sorry, is the idea that individuals are sovereign over their own lives and don't have to sacrifice his or her values, or in this case, talents, to the discretion of others. In this case, the main example was LeBron James, or becoming a heroin addict, which are two extreme ends of the pole, which is hilarious, by the way. But for me to evaluate it, and honestly, I don't really understand libertarianism. I also can't say it, but I mainly can't understand it. I don't think anyone, first off, should have to sacrifice his or her values, or again, in this case, talents or choices for the discretion of someone else to please someone else. When in fact it's each individual life, it's not a group of lives. Now, it'd be different if we lived in some kind of society where someone's behavior and someone's actions could hurt other people in this society or whatever. However, we're not in that. It can be taken to that extent, but the chances of that are very slim, and I don't necessarily think it's completely mandatory. And so, with the LeBron James and with the heroin addiction, there are criticisms in both, saying that LeBron is not completely entitled to all of his earnings because he was born with that talent. In no way did he choose that talent. He was just born with it, when other people have worked so hard and still are not up to the level that LeBron is given. I know he has worked hard, but I'm sure there are some people out there who've worked even harder and still their talents are unknown and probably will never be known. And I know this on a first hand because my boyfriend was a runner-up actually he was a finalist for the TSSAA wrestling tournament last year, where he actually got second because of the fact that the guy who he had wrestled, who also won this year, hasn't, I believe now his record is like 140 something. He has never lost a match, starting in high school. Actually, I want to think it's middle school. Regardless, he's trained with the Olympics, and he's born with that talent. Given I know my boyfriend has worked just as hard, if not harder, for that. Unfortunately, this young man, he was a fine young man, is just born with the talent. And so there's something about being born versus having to work so hard that really just kind of breaks it up. And it makes it a little unfair. However, that's not a reason to criticize. That's how it is. There's nothing you can do to change it. That person's working just as hard. And if they make the big break, it's great. If they don't, that's how it is. Now, going into the political developments, right now I'm not sure if there's any set idea of this libertarianism right now. If there is, obviously I just don't understand the concept enough to respond on it, because Trump doesn't have a particular talent or anything that he owes to anybody. The only thing that I can think about is maybe his taxes. I know that we were arguing about that, and just this morning or overnight actually came through that he had paid so many, I want to think it was like $53 million in taxes, and so that way he's justified his own self against the criticism. However, that's the only thing I can really think about today in this time. So that's all that for chapter 3. I know you had asked us what we did for spring break to add on to this, and I really didn't do a whole lot over spring break. I played tourist in Sevierville and Pigeon Forge, which was pretty cool, and I woke up at 4 in the morning to go to Max Patch in North Carolina when it was like a -2 wind chill. The only really fun thing I guess I did over spring break was, regardless regardless to my appearance right now, I am Miss Queen City, and I will be competing for the title of Miss Tennessee in June. And if by God's good grace I were to win Miss Tennessee, I would go and compete at Miss America. And so this weekend I went to the Miss Tennessee workshop where I learned what I was going to go on the week in June, how it was going to happen, how the layout was. I was able to watch 2 pageants. One of the winners is actually going to Miss America's Outstanding Teen, so I promise I'm not making this up. I just don't look great. See, you can see my spray tan a little bit. There's a little pageant girl in there. But this has been an interesting assignment, and I look forward to next week.